share a common interest in wildlife. Okay. Share a common interest in wildlife and its conservation. We are a group of over 500 individuals. We have members from across the globe. So the purpose of the group is to create awareness about wildlife amongst public in general and youth in particular. To promote lasting friendship outside of one's own club, district, and country. Promote conservation of living resources and to explore new opportunities to serve. That being said, a warm welcome once again to everyone. So over to Sanjay.
Thanks, Rajiv. May I request Shweta to please introduce our speaker?
Hello, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for the month. I'm sure many of us already know her, as she is a member of Rotary Fellowship of Wildlifers for Conservation, and many of us even visited her art exhibition some time ago. Ms. Sudha is a professional artist, wildlife enthusiast, and avid bird watcher, and her passion for nature is reflected in her work. To study her subjects, she has traveled all over North America, including the Arctic Circle, Alaska, Yosemite, the Everglades, Smoky Mountains, and the deserts of the Southwest USA. Further, she has twice visited Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania to study African wildlife. In India, she has traveled through many forests and sanctuaries, including Ranthambore, Tadoba, Khana, Bandipur, Madumalai, Top Slip, Nagarhole, Kaziranga, Bharatpur, Ranganthittu, and has trekked through the desert National Park of Rajasthan to study the habitat of great Indian bustard. As a wildlife artist, she uses photos, sketches, and her own observations to create amazing paintings. She is a self-taught artist who likes to create myriad of artwork by continually varying the theme, genre, and media of paintings. There's a lot more I would like to share, but due to paucity of time, I have to cut it short. Now, over to our speaker, Mrs. Sudha. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shweta. Sudha? Yeah, please take over.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, thank you for inviting me for this presentation. Can you play the PPT or Rashmi? You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can, Sudha, but as much as possible, please be a little louder. Yeah.
I'll speak up.
Thanks.
So I am R.A. Sudha. I'm a wildlife artist here in Bangalore, India. So welcome to my gallery of wildlife art. Next slide. So let me just take you through my artwork with a few words on each, and after that, I can, can have some question answers if you like. So the first one is, of course, two painted stalks from Kokribelu, and these are all oil on canvas in various sizes. The problem with these slides is it's hard to tell the size, right? So in some, I've tried to show perspective, but I couldn't find too many photographs. So yeah, this is the second one is a Malabar grey hornbill. Next. And close up of the Malabar grey hornbill is a small canvas. The cinereous tit on the right. Sometimes I paint because some birds visit my my upstairs where I have my studio, and the cinereous tit came and it sat on my cactus plant. I don't photograph because I'm not a great photographer, but sometimes I take self-portraits. but then I try to remember and paint. And so since I had the plant with me, it was easy. Next slide. So these are a set of 3 birds which I did on the abstract acrylic background. 2 are water birds. 1 is an Australian bird. I just like the color scheme. I like the white and the yellow scheme. So sometimes it's just color which catches my fancy. Sometimes it is for some reason, like I've seen a bird or an animal and I just get home and I decide to paint it. So this was the color scheme and I think I've sold most of these. Next. So recently started about a year back, I started on my Big Cat series. I was kind of afraid to start the big cats. I thought they'd be very hard to do. And then I just one day jumped into it. And the first one you can see is a leopard that's drinking water. Why did I do it? I liked the beige and the color schemes I liked a lot. And I liked the fact that a leopard, when it drinks water, it stares at you. If you get a close-up of this, you will see that the eyes are looking right at you. And so I did that leopard canvas. And the next one on the right is called KVR Tagore Tiger. I had a very, very nice, lovely friend called KVR Tagore. I think many Bangaloreans will know him. And he was my mentor. He first of all became my neighbor, and then my mentor, my supporter. He inaugurated many of my art shows. He was in the police department and in the tourism department, etc. Well, he passed away during the COVID crisis, and really bothered me a lot. The KVR Tagore tiger, because I lost my very good friend, Mr. KVR Tagore, to COVID. And I'll show you another slide which has a perspective of the size. The next one is, of course, a snow leopard from Spiti Valley. I have not been there. I do want to go there. So I sometimes paint something that I want to go and see, hoping that the universe will somehow get me there. And the fourth one is the leopard of Jawai. And again, it's a photograph that it caught my eye because of the attitude of the leopard, and I painted it. Next. So here is just like, because we can't tell the size so easily. Here's a perspective of how big the snow leopard is. It looks like a 2x3 or 30x36 or something like that. Next. So this is Mrs. Tagore, and this painting has gone to her collection. They are setting up a small memorial for him. So this painting is going to be there someday in Bidadi. Next. Yeah, so this is a tiger I just liked his turning attitude. So all these are oil on canvas. This is like a 15x15 inch. It's a smaller tiger painting. I think one of the few I started with when I wasn't very sure of, that I could do a good job. And but people love this particular tiger. The right side is the great Indian hornbill. So when I went to Dandeli with my husband, I just fell in love with this bird, and so I've painted quite a few of these hornbills. So this is a female hornbill, and you can tell, of course, by the orbital skin around its eyes and the color of the casque. I found this photograph on the internet and used it to paint. So it's come out really well. It surprised me also. Next. So here is the biggest canvas I have done so far. It's a 5 feet by 6 feet canvas. And, when we go to like Ranthambore or any of those places, I would imagine how would a tigress with her cubs be like, people said we've never been able to see them when, you know, she goes and sort of hides herself when she has her cubs so that they are not put in danger. So I thought I just wanted to paint something of how it would be before she brought her cubs out, when she's very protective of them and she's very secretive. And basically, you cannot go and photograph this particular this time of the life of the tigress and the cubs. So I thought, if you can't photograph it, I should at least paint it. So this one is the two cubs are playing, or they are curious about an agama lizard, and the other cub is just quietly sitting, behind the mother. So the next slide, I'll show you the perspective of size. Next one. So it was really fun to try to do a 5 feet by 6 feet, because when you want to paint the top, you have to stand on a small table. And then when you want to paint the bottom of it, you have to get off. Either you take the canvas up and down, or you take yourself up and down. And that was an interesting learning. And yeah, it took me about 3 months to do this. It was so much fun though. And this, of course, became what I did this to make it kind of make it big, to make it a showstopper. So it became my showstopper in my solo exhibition, and got a lot of good credit, onto this. So it was fun. Next. Here you see a hoopoe at nest, photographed by Mr. some not Indian name, Stanlavich or something. And I just liked, I like the way he photographed it. And the moment is that, when the food is almost at the chick's mouth. And I think I changed, as an artist, you have that liberty. I think the mother or father had a worm, and I changed it to some kind of a spider looking bug. So these are the small things that I can do just to have fun. And I have a lot of fun. Next. This is, of course, a great Indian hornbill. Like I said, we went to Dandeli, and that's my first interaction with the hornbills, and they are just so amazing. So this is from a photograph which was taken in Bhutan, and it's a female. It's just quietly sitting there. That's it. It's a nice, beautiful, painting. I sold it to somebody in the US. Next. Okay, so I think you saw this in an earlier slide, the Queen of Javai leopard. And like I said, the rocks, the attitude, I like that the paws are visible, and it was a challenge to try to paint the paws. It's the photographer had called it Nagini, Queen of Javai, and sitting on her throne. So I just love this painting. I think there's another picture. Next one is with the perspective of how big it is. So this is how big it's. Most of my paintings are like 30 by 36. I'm looking at my leopard, which is on the wall here. Next. Yeah, so in Kokrebelur, we go quite often during the nesting of the painted storks and the spot-billed pelicans. And for those who are not familiar, there's a village called Kokrebelur between Bangalore and Mysore. And the village, it's a very, very special symbiotic relationship that they have with these two particular, I've seen many nesting birds, but these come in big flocks. So I think by November, the pelicans come, and then the painted storks come later. So basically the villagers take care of the fallen chicks, and there's a small hospital for them. And the villagers believe that these birds bring good luck and bring good harvest and things like that. So I just love the symbiotic relationship that they have. And so we are frequent visitors to Kokrebelur. And this is one of the stalks from there. Next. So this is a bar-headed goose from Salkere, somewhere near Mysore. And it was taken by my friend, Mr. Hariharan. Just felt like painting it. The one interesting thing about the bar-headed goose is, of course, that it is one of the highest, when it migrates, it's one of the highest flyers, and it flies over the Himalayas, over Everest or something like that. So, but it is the highest flyer that migrates to India. So that's I think it's a very special bird. I love it. The leopard on the jackfruit tree. So basically, I found a photograph of a leopard sitting on the ground and painted it. And then I decided that, like I said, artistic license, I can do what I like. Decided to put it on a tree. And then I was wondering what tree should it be? Like, it was a vague tree. And then outside my house, we have a jackfruit tree. So my husband just broke off a few leaves and he said, okay, paint these leaves and it becomes a jackfruit tree. So that's how this leopard is sitting on the jackfruit tree. It's a blue-eyed leopard from Ranthambore, I think, by Sachin Rai. Next. So another, I have two showstoppers. This is one of them. It's photographed by Mr. Bobby Bhargava from Ranthambore. He's one of the guides there. And the moment I saw this photograph, I just thought I should paint it. The tiger is crossing one of the lakes. You know, Ranthambore has a lot of lakes, and this is like one, I think it's a shallow, maybe it's a summer photograph, I don't know. But it's crossing the lake, and I thought that the stillness of the water, the ripples from the feet of the tiger were just too beautiful. I decided I wanted to paint it. And I've been true to the photograph, except that I decided to add a kingfisher on the mango tree. So, you know, this one is the tiger of Ranthambore crossing the water. Next. Yeah, this is a mother. This is a mother leopard and her baby sub-adult or cub. And this was from an illustration. I think I started off. I just liked the attitude of the mother trying to communicate with her. I guess a little stubborn cub or something. And then it became a painting. And what I do sometimes is when I start with the subject and I leave the background blank, I won't do anything to it until I decide what I want to do. And so this has gone through a whole plethora of backgrounds that I just didn't like. I started off with a nocturne and then I scraped it off. And then I finally decided that I should do a Javai Band, which is in Rajasthan, the Javai Band background. And then this is how the final painting turned out. Next. This is the slender loris on the left. This was actually I have a cousin in Sadashiv Nagar in Bangalore near the Sankey Tank, and we hear it all the time when I go to visit her. So I thought I should do so. I looked up internet photographs and then painted this, gifted it to her daughter, my niece, and tried to make it a nocturne, but you can see the leaves. The next one is a leopard that's climbing down the rocks, and there is an agama lizard, I think, that's slightly bothering it, so it's looking to the side. I just added the agama lizard, just for effect. Next. Yeah, this is so my husband and I went to see the turtle nesting in Orissa, and it was just amazing. That was in February, many years back, and I decided someday that I have to do a turtle, olive ridley turtle. So I did it in a slightly, I don't know, it's not exact, right? It's just like it is partly imagination and partly what we saw. We saw the nesting and we saw the hatching, which was about 6 weeks later. So we went twice. Anyway, that was a beautiful, once in a lifetime, memorable thing. The next one is our puffins. So I've traveled to Alaska and seen the puffins. I decided I should paint them. It's just the decision to paint these are just from like good memories, and then you pull out some photographs. Sometimes memories, along with like somebody posts a photograph on Instagram or something, and you think, yeah, I think I should paint this. So those are the puffins in Alaska. The chameleon, I don't know what to say. I just liked it a lot. I like creepy crawlies. And of course, this guy is not a creepy crawly, but he's very cute. So the chameleon, I think it's his eyes and his curly tail that I liked so much, and I painted this. Next. So the first painting is a painting of Maya and Mira. Maya is the very, very famous tiger of Tadoba. This photograph was by Miss Shruti Dudane, and she had taken it in Tadoba Lake. Sitting one is Maya, and the standing one is Mira, her daughter, her sub-adult daughter. And it was just a beautiful picture that I liked. And so I asked Shruti permission, and then I painted this. The next one, of course, I think you've seen this one. There's a tiger of Ranthambore. That's Mr. Sachin Rai's photograph. This bottom one is Siberian tiger. And I just liked some, I think it was a reference sketch that I did, and I liked it. So you can see a little bit of snowflakes. A lady from Switzerland liked it and bought it, and it's gone to Switzerland now. Next. So here's two of my friends' children to give you perspective of the Maya and Mira painting. I think it's a 3 feet by 3 feet painting. Next. This is like a random tiger that's walking out of its cave. So I'm quite fascinated with the caves and the home of the tiger. So again, I did the tiger, and then I didn't know what to do for the background. Somebody suggested bamboo forest, and then I just ended up, I said, let's do a cave. So here's a cave, tiger coming out of its cave. Next. Yeah, chestnut-headed bee-eaters, it's actually a small painting. It's in my hall. It's by Mr. Antikad, and it's, I think, from somewhere in South India, maybe Valpare. And just liked the way that they were all sitting next to each other. So did this. I think the photograph has not done justice, because I can see the reflection of the blacks. So there, yeah. Next. Some of my contemporary works, which are a little bit, I try to do both realistic and contemporary. And it's really hard for me to do contemporary work. So these are, one is a deer, kind of an early morning or something. And the other is a horse, which I've used very contemporary colors for. Next. This is the Maratha woodpecker photographed somewhere near Pune. So actually, I don't take good photographs. I rather observe and watch. But then I do need photographs from really good photographers to get the details. So this was from a photographer that I had met on Instagram. And, I asked permission and then use the photographs, and of course, give them credit when I use them. So Maratha woodpecker female on a coral tree. Next. Yeah, the kingfisher, these are all on acrylic backgrounds and with oil in the foreground. The kingfisher it was an interesting story, because as I was going to my exhibition, I was getting late, and the kingfisher actually fell from the third floor to the ground floor the day that my exhibition was about to start. And I thought, okay, it's, I must leave this and not have it in my exhibition. Luckily, my neighbor picked it up and said nothing's happened to it. That's the hardiness of oil paintings. And took it to the exhibition, and it was the first one that sold. And I remember some friend of mine saying anything that falls down sells, and I never believed it. But after this weird incident, maybe I believe it now. The next one is brown pelicans from California. So I somehow love water birds, and I do paint a lot of them. Next. The swans painting is from a very long time ago, I think from 2000, the year 2000. So I used to paint I painted from like 1992 to about 2000. And then I stopped for about 16 years and started again. And I found this painting of mine. I liked it so much. It actually won an award in Hyderabad in a wildlife art show back in 2000. So that's the mute swans it looks like maybe in a barn or just, I don't know. But yeah. And then the puffins in Alaska, I just love the cliffs and the puffins standing on the cliffs looking out to sea. So this is puffins in Alaska. Next. Mute swan in a contemporary style. And I like the soft muted colors in this. The owlets are from a person, the son of a lady I know called Vidya Sundar. And he took the photograph in one of I think in the IIMD campus in Bangalore. And so I did it I did some kind of weird background texture and did this. So I don't know if you can see the texture. It was one of the trials I did. So owlets of, what owlets are these? Owlets, spotted owlets. The contemporary peacock, contemporary because I just left it little vague. And I tried to actually brighten the picture, but the painting is much deeper in color than this. And the peacock is, of course, turning while its when it's folding its feathers. So yeah, contemporary peacock. Next. These two are a pair. One is a pelican and one is an egret. And I just did a vague background on it and then did the paintings of the birds. And all my friends who are a contemporary or modern artists said, you should have left the birds out. The backgrounds are beautiful. So, that's their opinion. But yeah, just two nice water birds. Next. Again, the female Great Indian Hornbill from Dandeli. I've done quite a few paintings. I think I came back from Dandeli and said I should do at least 10, and I think I've done about 8 in just various poses. Next. The hummingbird from California. So one of my cousins had a hummingbird nest just outside her front door in a very, very conspicuous spot, and we couldn't figure out why the hummingbird had built it there, but we could watch it the whole day. We could watch it coming in and out and feeding the chicks. So I decided, okay, I'll do a painting of this. And the bronze-winged jasana with chicks. So the interesting thing about the bronze-winged jasana is that it is the male who takes care of the chicks. So this is the father. And I just like the way the chicks were. Actually, I painted this for a competition, and I wanted to do a water bird. And then I just decided that these chicks with their big, big feet standing on the leaves was so beautiful. So this was my own composition from my imagination, let's say, with references from the internet on how to draw the chicks. Next. This is a leopard, which I tried to do a kind of a different background. Did a kind of a window background for it. And a lot of people appreciated that. The contemporary tiger looks kind of like a pussycat to me. So I tried to do a contemporary. Like I said, I'm trying to get out of the realistic thing if possible. And this is my contemporary work. Next. The zebra. I just like the reds in the zebra, and I named this painting is called They Call Me Red, and it was like in my imagination it was the zebra rolling around in the the red African soil and getting red all over him, and so he was not exactly black and white but red also. So that's my zebra. I sold this. The mute swan was a photograph by somebody in like Norway or something like that, one of the Netherlands kind of places. I just liked it. I liked the lighting, and it's a small canvas that I painted. Next. So this you can see right behind me. This is my African elephant with a abstract background. I did this. Like I said, we've been to Kenya a few times, and I just love the elephants. And at one point, one of the elephants, I was telling Sanjay yesterday, turned around and kind of positioned itself between our jeep and the rest of the herd. And the rest of the herd was raising the reddish mud all around. And so this is from that moment that we watched this happening. It's my African elephant. Next. The Malabar pied hornbill from Dandeli, eating figs. I've given it some kind of an abstractish checkered background, and it's not realistic. It's a little contemporary. The greater flamingos. My husband and I went to Sriharikota and saw these. They were just amazing. You can go by boat and go very close to them. Of course, as soon as you go close to them, they fly away. It's again a beautiful sight. And the next one is a roasting parakeet. This is a photograph by many of our birders in Bangalore would know Mrs. Deepa Mohan from UGS Birds. And it was her photograph of a parakeet in Lalbagh. And so I thought it was very cute, and I painted it, and then I went around Lalbagh trying to find this particular tree, and I think I found it. And the peacock with a golden background, I was thinking of Jaisalmer. So peacock from Jaisalmer. Next. So these next slides are my charcoals, and the charcoals are all, of course, on paper, and I use charcoal powders, charcoal pencils, and recently I learned charcoals. So I was excited to just keep doing all kinds of animals with them. They come in initially I found charcoals in about 3 colors. And then of late, I found charcoals in many colors, charcoal powders. And I think I've got a slide in which I show you how you can get them in bottles, you can get the powders, and then you can blend the charcoal to get your different shades. So the first one is a caracal, which I think a few of them you can see in Rajasthan and Ranthambore. I haven't seen one, but I think they're just very, very beautiful. And the bottom one is a baby leopard. I think many of us know Mr. Jayant Sharma, who runs he's a good photographer, and he runs one of the tourism thing near Kabini and all. His photograph. Mother lion tending to her cub, lioness. The cub seems to be a little bit not very happy to be getting cleaned, but I just like this photograph. Someone commented that I do a lot of photographs with mother and child as a theme, and I realized. I said, okay, when you noticed that, then I also noticed it. And I said, yeah, I do. And the tiger cub, that actually, this is a tiger cub that I practiced before I did the big picture, the big canvas. So this is the tiger cub that's under the cave behind the mother. And then the right side is the mother, the tigress, which is again a practice for the big canvas. So she's the mother, the tigress. And these are all charcoals. So the next few slides are all going to be charcoals. Next. Lion family. More, I don't know, it's not from a photograph. It's, I don't know where I got this, but I thought it was just too cute. Someone just immediately said, just give me this, and they took it. So lion family is one, and then you saw my big canvas of the leopard drinking water at the water hole. So this was, I do practice many times before I start a big canvas. I do a few charcoals, and then if I like them, go ahead with the canvas. And the last one is a tiger cub. So I had to practice a few tiger cubs for the big canvas, and then this is one I didn't do, but I did the charcoal of it. I didn't use it in my painting. Next. Another caracal. I love the caracals features, the eyes, everything. And you do know the caracals jump very high. So I don't know, I'm fascinated with the caracal. The tiger, this is on a beige color paper that I did this tiger. Again, all are charcoals. Next. Leopard, that's the side profile of a leopard. Like I said, I right now have a love affair going on with the big cats. And so I just keep doing those. The one below that, the langur monkey with her baby sitting on a log. And the next on the right side is Indian pitta. And by this time I had found more colors of charcoals to work with. So that's why I got color also. The next one is a langur. I just liked the way it was looking sideways and the reflection in the eyes. And the top one is lioness with her cub. And what caught my attention was the attitude of the cub, which is so cozy and safe with mother and staring at us with a little bit of attitude. I loved it. So I did these. Next. This was a leopard that we saw in Ranthambore. And we saw it for about, I mean, you wouldn't believe it. We saw it for about 3 seconds or 2 seconds because it came out of one cave and it just disappeared into another crevice in another cave. So it was just a few, like I said, 3 seconds maybe. The leopard came out, it turned and it saw us, it saw the jeep, and it just, for that 1 second, it stopped and then it just moved on. And so I just remembered the way it looked, and this is my charcoal of that. Next. Again, the theme of mother and child, the lioness with her cub playing. I don't remember, from some random photograph from Africa, I think. Next. So here I thought I'd show one, where I take a photograph and I do a charcoal. So the right is a photograph and there's my charcoal. So this is like I said, by this time I had found colored charcoal and I was excited about using the greens and the reds and things like that. Next. So another leopard, this as I sat in my solo exhibition in IIWC, Indian Institute of World Culture, I had promised myself I wouldn't waste my time. I'd do something, and I did this leopard while sitting there. And the other one, the next one is a barn owl. I think I've darkened it a little bit too much. The barn owl, actually, we had, for a long time, we had a barn owl coming and roosting on our sloping roof. And one morning I saw it where I paint on my upstairs. I saw it sitting there. So when such a thing happens that an animal comes right to my doorstep, I just have to either paint it or sketch it or something. So I did the barn owl. Past about 2 months, I haven't seen my barn owl. I've named her Lakshmi, but she's not been coming, and she will, I think, someday come back. Next. Like I said, my love affair with the big cats, a tiger and a baby leopard. Just, I don't know, just for fun. Next. So a few, photographs to show like the scale of my work. My solo exhibition at Yuvaka Sangha, Bangalore, which was in February 2022 this year. My first solo, and it was a lot of fun. And because of COVID, I had a great number of paintings which I had done. And so I could do 2 solos back to back, one at Yuvaka Sangha in February and one at Indian Institute of World Culture in March. So in the first picture, you can see a few of my visitors, and the painting of the Ranthambore tiger crossing the water, which, like, when I have visitors, I'll ask them, where do you want me to stand, and they'll choose their favorite painting, like stand here and take a picture. So that's one of the pictures. And the second one is my big canvas of the tigress and cubs. And then the fourth one is this is how I had done my charcoals, how I had mounted them, and sold many there, but this is how I displayed it, how I mounted them. Next. And again, for perspective of how big these are from my Yuvaka Sangha show, February 2022. And of course, the big tiger was my showstopper, but a lot of people like the water crossing tiger as well. Next. So when we went in May of 2022, when we went to Ranthambore, I just walked into, there's a beautiful, beautiful, amazing natural history museum in Savai Madhavpur, which is the village that we stayed at, and the entry point of Ranthambore. So the director of the museum asked me to come and be chief guest for his children's camp, which was very surprising, that it was an honor. And then he asked me to teach them a little bit of wildlife art. So for the first time in my life, I was chief guest, and all of us had a great time sketching. Like, I think I taught them a leopard, how to start. So basically, I like to get children out of the fear of doing this. I remember I had a big fear of starting the big cats. So the first thing that I teach them is a simple way to sketch a leopard. And so this was from that. These are the photographs from the Natural History Museum in Savai Madhavpur. Next. So then after we came back, we painted some bird enclosures in BBBP is Bangalore Bannerghatta Biological Park. It's the zoo portion of Bannerghatta. And so we painted some bird enclosures. And of course, it was a lot of fun just to be there. And we went to the butterfly park. We could hold the butterflies, etc. So 2 pictures. Next. On the right, you will see one of the enclosures that we painted. So when I say we, it was a group of volunteers from Yuvaka Sangha who helped me to paint these. We painted 2 and got some thank you certificates and things like that. Good fun. Really, I think I had so much fun that I didn't need any certificate or anything. Just and I'll be doing another few more paintings for them. I think Mr. Harish Gowda, who's in this picture, wants some butterfly selfie points for the butterfly park. And I'm looking forward to doing that soon after the rain stops. Next. So I taught, again in May, I taught children's camp. I taught them art. And my first teaching assignment, I was nervous, but it was so much fun. Kids are so much fun. And this was in Mysore in a camp. Best part of it was that they took us to Kabini, which is always my favorite. So, you know, she asked me, do you want any money? I said, no, I think that just the fact of being with the kids and going to Kabini are payment enough. So, but she did pay me. So this was a great fun camp. Next. So yeah, this is just for reference, my rooftop art studio in Bangalore, India, where I paint, where I get my inspiration, where I make my creations. And I think it's probably one of my favorite places in the world. Just so happy to be a wildlife artist, and just happy that God has decided to gift me this beautiful, beautiful gift of art. And yeah, this is where I paint. Next. So here, some contact details, or no, this is actually what I do. What my art initiative is, a lot of social work as much as I can do, and a bit of business in selling my artwork. Just launching my corporate gifts, which are mugs and posters and all from my artwork. And someday hope to have a shop of my own. Next. Contact information. Do follow me on Instagram. And then of late, I've started a YouTube channel called Wildlife Art Bites, in which whatever I can record of my work, I make them into small bites of like 2.5, 3 minute small YouTube bits. And it's fun to watch these. And my physical wildlife art gallery right now is my studio. Someday, my own gallery in Bangalore. Next. That's it, right?
Yep, that's the end.
Okay. So anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Subodh, I request you to moderate the question session. If anybody would like to ask, please raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself and ask. Or you can even type in the chat box.
Yeah, anybody would like to go first?
Yes, Subodh, I would like to go first. I'll ask the first question.
Great. Okay.
Sudha, what do you hope to achieve through art? And how will it help conserve wildlife?
So basically, number one is I paint because I love to paint. And I love to paint wildlife only. That's, from my side. But then when you think about why, then you start realizing that, okay, you have to share this talent with somebody, and you have to make a, some kind of contribution, right? So what I hope to achieve from this is I teach a lot of like we go to Kokrebellur and I teach these government school children, really amazing, amazing children. They are so eager to learn. They are so talented. They are so intelligent, so well behaved. I mean, like I was completely floored by these kids. So I just went. We took them on bird watching. Of course, they live amongst these birds, but how much do they observe? We don't know. So we took them bird watching, and then I taught, how they can identify birds. I'm yet to do one class with them, but this is what I do is I first sensitize them, and then I teach them how to draw, and hopefully I'll teach them how to paint also someday. And, that sort of, I think they will, when they grow up, I hope they carry this. Hopefully I nurture some love for wildlife in them. And hopefully they carry it. At least I know they're carrying it home, because their parents come and tell us that they've really noticing things and changing. And someday they will become, in the workforce. And this, hopefully, for me, it is just the children, because they are the future. And hopefully they will carry this forward and do their part of conservation. And the other thing I do is I donate paintings. I donate some part of my income to wildlife causes. Like last I remember is this wildlife SOS. I donated 6 paintings, and then they auctioned it and they raised money for their cause, conservation.
Thank you for that. Anybody else with questions? You can please raise your hand so that we can go one by one. We'll go to Leela. If you can please unmute yourself.
Yeah, unmute.
Please go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Sudha, brilliant work. I'm very impressed. And you also said that you're doing a lot of, you're donating some paintings and all. That's also very awesome. Great job. And about Kokre Bellur, that was so fascinating for me that you go and teach the kids there. Can, anybody in this group also join you in the process and sit there amongst the school children and try to paint along with them? Along with you?
Yes. Yeah, there is no, as of, I've never heard anyone like not being allowed to come. And it would be a pleasure to have, wildlife lovers. And then of course, it's so much fun. I can't tell you how much fun it is just to be there.
Sure. I'm sure, even learning some amount with you, birding there, knowing some more about the birds. Though I've been there 2-3 times, I don't know whether I know. I don't really know much about it, but I've gone there 2-3 times. It's a brilliant place to visit. So next time I would really like to come along with you and also sit with the school children and paint with them and come along with you too.
Yeah.
Thanks much.
Can you contact me offline and I'll let you know next time I go.
Yes, thank you very, very much. That's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Leela.
Thank you.
Moving on, I think I'll just run through a few messages from the chat box. People appreciating the work that they have seen. Starting off with Dr. Surekha Shetty, who says it's amazing work. Shrikant Kadambi says excellent paintings. Chahara says marvelous and amazing paintings. Dr. Surekha Shetty again says no questions, but dumbstruck seeing the paintings. It was a visual treat. Okay, I'll take a pause here and continue with those messages later. Anybody else would like to ask a question, please raise your hand. Deanne, yeah, please go ahead, Deanne.
It's not really a question, but it's just really exciting to see somebody who's so passionate about what she does and really enjoys it. It's contagious. I want to come over and I want to see your work. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think the next message is from Rashmi. Rashmi, Rotary Wildlife Fellowship, that's you, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, she says the depth, sensitive observation, and the colors and expressions were mesmerizing, and she especially loved the contemporary interpretations as well. We have Akram Kasim, who says amazing collection of wildlife art with a lovely variation of animals and birds from different regions. So right now we're there. Anybody else would like to ask a question?
Good evening, Sudha ma'am. This is Karthik here.
Good evening, Sudha ma'am.
Good evening, Karthik.
So my question is, who is your biggest artistic influence? So when you're painting, right? Like,
my artistic influence is actually my wildlife influence is much more than my artistic influence. because I try to keep it realistic if possible, with a lot of, the important thing about wildlife art is habitat. So I can't think of a single person influencing me. Some of the wildlife artists of, in the rest of the world. See, my background is that I grew up in Oklahoma in the US. So a lot of the Wild West art influenced me, because that's why, if anyone is from the Midwest, and I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So like Wooler Rock Museum, these museum visits that first were more of the Native American kind of art. And I like that. So I don't know if that's an answer to your question, but more than an artist, I'm a wildlife lover, and art is only my, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
So yeah, art is a medium like photography, but my main passion is wildlife.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. Anybody else?
So just to add on to that, the paintings are really marvelous. And I was going through all the paintings, and the eyes, you have been very keen in, I mean, those eyes are literally like live photographs, and it is realistic, which I definitely liked about your whole paintings. I mean, all of them, I mean, I was just very keen in seeing the eyes, and those were very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I start with the eyes basically, and I choose photographs where the eyes are looking at the camera, because then I can capture the eyes very well. And so I don't proceed. If you see some of my videos on my YouTube channel, you'll see that I don't proceed until I get the eyes right. And sometimes that takes a few days because oil has to dry. And yeah, so you can't hurry it up. But yeah, I make sure that I get the eyes correct.
Yeah. But those are fantastic, seriously. Yeah.
I want to thank you for noticing that, because I do focus a lot on that.
See,
And
I'm also a temporary artist, so I was just keen about seeing those things.
Yeah, I just want the viewer to feel the animal, and they say the eyes are the most important, right? And so that's why I make sure the eyes, and some of these paintings, it feels like it's just sucking you in the eyes, and that's what I want to achieve.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am.
Actually, Karthik, if you see those paintings, right in front of you, I had a similar observation when I visited her exhibition in what is that, BP Wadia Road. And I don't know, Sudha, if you remember, we had a similar conversation about the glaze in the eye of every animal that I saw. And we had a discussion about that. Very, very interesting and fascinating stuff.
I do a lot of research
else?
on the eyes.
Yeah, I guess it reflects in the work. Would anybody else like to go next?
Hi, this is Sanjeev. I'm speaking from Nairobi, Kenya.
Hi, Sanjeev. Please go ahead.
Wow, by all those amazing paintings. Thank you, Sudhaji, for sharing such impeccable paintings. It's quite a beholding sight. I'd like to see if I can entice you to do a few on African wildlife. I can see you have a few on the cheetahs and tigers and all, but I'd like to give you some of the savanna from Africa wildlife, and you might find a different eye and paint something unique. So I'll perhaps share a couple of images and you can see what you can do with them. My passion is photography, so I have a library of some images, and it'll be great to see how they can come up in oil paintings. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Please reach out to me. I'm on Instagram or on WhatsApp, and I've been wanting to do some savanna, some open grassland kind of paintings. So yes, I would love to try some.
Sanjeev, she is also part of our wildlife fellowship group. So you can find her contact there.
I've gone and debunked the wildlife group and joined the coffee group instead. And I found all the wildlifers there. So I'm in the same group.
Yeah.
It's nice to be here after so many weeks. I keep missing because of this time frame. India 7 p.m. and over here it's about 5:30. We're right in the middle of the road at that moment. But to made a point to stay in the office late so I could log into this. Thank you for coming on. And this it's quite amazing. Looking at art is always inspiring.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. I guess Kiran Saab wants to go next. Please unmute yourself, sir. So request you to please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Right now I'm speaking from US. Sudha, really thank you very much. Beautiful the paintings. Above all, you are the best critic of your own paintings. That is the real part of that reflects your attitude, that reflects your nature, that reflects your the characteristic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That reminds me in Kannada, ನನ್ನ ಏಳಿಗೆಗೆ ನಾನೇ ಶಿಲ್ಪಿ. It is the true reflection.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kiranji. Anybody else, please? Yes, we're done with all questions.
Yes, I think.
Back to you, Sanjeev.
Yeah.
Sanjay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Subodh. I'm sure we have all had a wonderful evening looking at those paintings. I second what Subodh said. Seeing them in an art gallery is really wonderful. All those who are in Bangalore, please next time, whenever there is a exhibition, please do visit. It's especially the tiger, Ranthambore tiger inside walking in the water. That is something, you should, when you look at it as a painting, it's something different than looking at it on our laptop screens. So thank you so much, Sudha. Thanks for accepting our request to come and share your art with all of us. And I'm sure many of us would love to connect with you in future. I'm sure many of us want to have our children, grandchildren, and come to you to learn the painting from you. And especially I liked when you said your main interest is wildlife and painting is only a medium. That's very nice of you to think like that. And I also thank all of you, each one of you, for joining. We have people from different parts of the world, different parts of the country. We have from Sri Lanka, we have from USA, we have from Kenya. Thank you so much. And of course, different parts of India as well. Thanks for joining, all of you. I also thank Shweta for introducing our speaker today. And as always, Rashmi for the support, backhand support that you're giving. And of course, there's a man behind every successful woman. I should thank Madhu for helping Sudha in setting up the Zoom. And she said she is new. I mean, she's not very comfortable handling, but thanks, Madhu. Thanks. And I thank your daughters as well, Sudha, for helping you come on.
Yeah,
Zoom
they've all
and-
disappeared and let me be here. One more thing, Sanjay,
Yeah.
is that 25th of this month of August, I'm a part of a show at Chitrakala Parishad. It's a wildlife photography and art show. So I will post that as soon as I think the poster will be out tomorrow, and I'll post it on the group. And so please, whoever is in Bangalore, please do come. It will be a very special exhibition, more to do with the frontline workers in the forest and how we need them more than anything else. So it's going to be a very good show. Please do come. I'll send the thing on the group, the poster. Okay.
Thank you, Sudha.
And,
I think that will
and
also
thank you so
provide,
much.
and that will also provide us members an opportunity to come and meet each other. Many of us who haven't met each other, we have been meeting virtually, except a few of us who have been, together on trips. Thanks for giving us that opportunity as well. Okay, that's it from our end. Please look forward to join for our next meeting. We are having our meeting on 5th day of every month. That's because 5th day of January was when our fellowship group was recognized by the Rotary International, and we will have, of course, the timing subject to what day of the week it falls. We will choose the timing, and we will keep. Please do visit our website and please follow us on social media as well. You will know about our next meeting shortly. Thank you, and good night, good day for those who are in the US.